Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Bitcoin, big old CoinsKid crew. So at the minute, structurally, Bitcoin is sound basically for an uptrend, and obviously this follows through with the entire crypto market right there. So I think that Bitcoin's obviously going through a correction at the moment. I think it's looking corrective until it looks impulsive. The minute it looks impulsive, I will begin to tell you, okay? And by impulsive, I mean that if this is a 1 and this is a 2, and it's not an A and it's not a B and not a C, wave correction, which is what I'm anticipating, to be honest with you. If it's a 1, it's a 2 and it's a 3, then this leg here, this should go in theory to the 2.618, which I'm going to show you. And if it does get down that far, then for me I would begin to say, okay, well, we may have topped here in some kind of big correction or impulsive wave, and we've got another impulsive wave to the downside, which could be quite worrisome in the fact that we could start to see the Cbbi turn a corner here and begin to come down and make a series of lower highs and lower lows, basically reversing this uptrend structure what we've got. So it's not bullshit, it's not hopium. Right here we've got a low, we've got a high, we've got a higher low, we've got a high, we've got a higher low, we've got a high, and at the moment we've got a higher low. So until we start to come down the stairs making a series of lower highs and lower lows, basically we are actually in an uptrend, and what we're doing, we're retracing for the continuation of the trend. I know the entire, the big macro trend from the top in, I think it was November 2021 is down, but at some point you do turn a corner, and there's certain indications and signals and levels in the charts that we keep an eye on to sort of indicate where we've turned a corner. And this was a perfect little spot, wasn't it? There was a lot of data at this particular point as well, way back there in June, where we did turn a corner as well, and a lot of the altcoins have held them lows as well, which is a bit of confidence of that being the actual true bottom and this being the final flush out, which is pretty much what you always get at the end of a massive downturn for Bitcoin. So in theory, not bullshit, not hopium, obviously things can go sour and things can turn a corner. If they do, I will alert you immediately, but at the moment we've got this beautiful uptrend structure intact, and until we've not, we are actually just have to respect the fact that we are in an uptrend right there for Bitcoin. And one of the key metrics that I look at is the Cbbi, and this is why when it was coming down here to 2, although it didn't feel like it, I did say to you historically 2 is just a fantastic opportunity. It's something I kept relaying on the day-to-day videos, and it was, looking back, it never felt like an opportunity, but it absolutely was, wasn't it? And something I've always relayed to you is opportunity never feels like opportunity, otherwise everybody would be millionaires. Okay, so at the minute I know there's a lot of sort of speculation at the moment that this is some kind of top, obviously, and it could be true, it could be some kind of top of a big rally, and then we enter this massive correction for a year or whatever, pretty much like what we did in 2019 into 20, right? That's absolutely possible, and if we do start to do certain things in the charts, I will tell you that's the outlook for me. But at the minute, for me, not permable, not permbear, whatever, or hopium, it's basically just respecting the data in the charts. It's showing us, and the Cbbi as well, we're making a series of high highs, high lows until she starts to come down and makes lower lows and lower highs, then we're looking okay. So right here what we've got is a high, a low, a lower high, and right now we're looking to come down and make a lower low. So at that point, that would for me signify an ABC correction, which is simply a correction in an uptrend. So the minute this starts to come down, which it's looking likely, and then starts to come up and makes another lower high, and goes again, then it's beginning to look impulsive, isn't it, and not corrective, basically. And in the minute it does, I will update you. So I know a lot of people have got their eye on this particular level of support to say that that's it, Bitcoin's cooked and it's looking like another impulsive move or a bigger correction or whatever, but I always have higher levels of support for you to signify the warning shots, and one of those warning shots is the weekly 20 EMA and the top end of the 5-day Gaussian channel right there, which we've busted a move out of. Okay, so we've got all that support that's higher than this support that for me will begin to look bearish if you lose it. Okay, and the minute you do, I will update you. So in the Cbbi just there, you can clearly see we hit 29. In my opinion, we've come back in some kind of A wave, then we've come up in a B wave and we hit 29 again. So you can clearly see there's some kind of divergence here with the price at the moment. So right now I think we are potentially in some kind of C wave. Now whether or not this is just a typical ABC zigzag or some kind of flat ABC correction will obviously be determined by holding this low wherever it is, coming up and taking out a local high will signify that was the bottom of the correction. So I'm trying to find the bottom of the correction. There is a particular scenario that if we are actually impulsive off this high, then this particular move down will go to the 2.618 because it is an actual factor wave 3. I'm going to show you in the charts in a moment, but it's not bullshit, it's not hopium. I think some of the coins are looking pretty tasty going forward. I think some of them still look a little bit more corrective to the downside. Obviously I think that there's a head and shoulders pattern on Cardano, which isn't quite completed just yet. So that could be, sort of foretelling us that this correction is not necessarily over. And I'm looking for that particular level of support on Bitcoin as well. So I'm going to show you some other charts today, confluence to my theory that Bitcoin is actually bullish, and what we've got is a simple correction before a massive breakout move here for Bitcoin, okay? And it's just something I've been looking at for a very, very long time, and there's so much confluence lining up right now in the charts, and people are still in disbelief for this move, okay? So let's jump into the DXY right now, show you what I'm looking at. So as you're fully aware, on the DXY, I think it's in trouble at the minute because you've got a def cross, you're in a clear downtrend, you've lost EMAs, so right now that's your key resistance. If you look, you are putting in series of lower lows here with the candle bodies, so that's quite negative, and what you've got, the resistance of the 10 EMA on the weekly. So, you're in a downtrend basically, until this starts to flip a switch, gets back into the Gaussian. We're looking to do something like that, where we fell out of the Gaussian on the weekly, came all the way back down before getting back through, flipping red, flipping green, and then up we go basically. So until we start to see that, I think we've got a potential like this, potential like that in front of us for the DXY. It's towards the end of the year right there, which could indicate, it's a bit of confluence with the fact that I think Bitcoin and crypto is going to see a massive move after this correction's over. Okay, it's basically just data, isn't it? It's not hopium, it's not bullshit, it's data. You've got just here, you can clearly see that the DXY is losing the weekly Gaussian channel. That's a very bearish and negative statement. If we take a look at the 5-day time frame as well, we've lost the 5-day time frame. We've got def crosses as well on the 5-day. We're on the cusp of going red on the 5-day as well. So until we start to see this buster move back in, I think we've got a clear downtrend here. And obviously, as you're fully aware, this chart is inversely correlated to Bitcoin. I'll drop the Bitcoin chart in for you again just to show you. If we go to compare symbol, go to new price to scale, you can clearly see as well. And this is why I did, a few weeks ago forecast a correction for Bitcoin, because this is usually what we see on the weekly def cross of the DXY. Not bullshit, not hopium. Look at the def cross just there, and what Bitcoin usually does when we get the def cross on the DXY on the weekly time frame, going back in history, is have a correction into that def cross before a massive parabolic move. Okay, so you can clearly see here what we've got is this def cross. What happened to Bitcoin way back there? It had a correction coming back down before a big parabolic move when the rest of this chart came down. Okay, and then again in 2017, you can clearly see the def cross just there. What happened? Bitcoin had an ABC correction before the big parabolic move as this thing began to come back down and bottom out with 2 trend line touches down here. Okay, and this is something I'm looking at. It's a perfect little setup. It's not bullshit, it's not opium. The minute this gets invalidated, I will obviously update you. Okay, so I think at the moment Bitcoin is having a pullback, and this is to be expected before a big breakout. Okay, and this is what you usually see in the charts. Let's take a look at another couple of charts right now, the SP 500. Okay, so looking at SP 500, one thing we have to do here, and it's really paramount that we do this, because if we don't, then there is a bearish scenario, and I've gone through this with you in a previous update as well. We need to see the S&P 500 take out that local high just there to negate that this is impulsive, but this is corrective with another impulsive move to the downside. Okay, so what we need to see is that high taken out to invalidate this wave count, and I've gone through this with you in a previous update. At the moment, this is my bullish count. I did show you the bearish count in a previous update, but I'll just remind you, for those that are sort of not seen this, basically what we could have here is an impulsive move to the downside, and it's absolutely possible. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, where you've got each wave overlapping one another. I think that's called some kind of ending diagonal, isn't it, or leading diagonal, where it comes down like this. And the rules of Elliott wave, as long as you've got 5 waves, this could be deemed as impulsive if the waves are overlapping one another. Okay, so that could be an impulsive move, and right now you've gone through a simple ABC. This was the A, this was your B, and this is your C. And right now what you're looking at for the S&P 500 is the fact that that's a 1, this is a 2 coming back up that fails to take out the 1 as support, and then boom, goes in a 3. So if we start to see this turning the corner like this and dropping, then all this was a retracement back up before another impulsive move to the downside. This is why I have, I'll show you the massive level just there that we take out. It indicates that this could actually be the 1, this could be an irregular ABC 2, and right now this is your 3, and it will be confirmed by taking out the resistance and negating the fact that that's a 1, that's a 2, and this is a 3. Do you understand? It really is simple. So going forward, what's happening for the S&P, you're caught between that level of resistance, breaking it is super bullish, and this level of support, breaking it is super bearish. Okay, and obviously whatever this chart does, it's going to lead the way for Bitcoin basically. So it's the perfect setup at the moment to break out, obviously, but it can all turn a corner. It can all turn a corner in a heartbeat. You're fully aware of that. This is how these markets work. So it's not conclusive yet. This is what I'm trying to say to you, but the setup is there. The perfect play for the big impulsive move is actually at play here, because this could just be some kind of 5-wave corrective pattern. You've got a 1, ABC 2, and right now you're in a miss of 3. So in theory, like I've always said to you, the third wave is the most powerfulest wave, and it usually breaks the resistance to confirm bull or bear, basically. So right now you'll be looking at that break, which would confirm that this is indeed bullish, and the reverse of that is the fact that this is a 1, this is a 2, and then this 3 confirms the bearish scenario. Do you understand? So the third wave is a confirmation wave for me, and this is something I always relay to you. So it is on a knife edge, and this is why we want to see the SP500 take out that level of resistance just there. For me, that absolutely confirms that right now you are in the midst of a third wave, and it's front running Bitcoin, basically, you know. So this is why I say to you, please keep an eye on this particular chart, because it's going to give the game away. So anyway, let's dive into the Bitcoin chart right now, okay? So look at Bitcoin on a daily time frame. What we have got is massive ascending level support at the minute. Support just there for Bitcoin, okay? A lot of people are looking at some kind of left shoulder, head, right shoulder, aren't they? And break down, turn this into resistance and drop. Now obviously I did say to you in a previous video the other day, if we do start to lose this green trend line, then for me that would actually indicate we've got a massive correction here. It's possibly some kind of A, some kind of B, and then C wave drop. Now it's all about that C wave drop. If we do start to see this lost, this green trend line, it's all about the support down here that needs to be held for Bitcoin for it to be bullish or bearish, basically. So using Fibonacci, we can look at this, okay? So this is not absolutely guaranteed that this is an ABC, by the way. You know, we could actually be in some kind of 5-wave corrective pattern like this, an A, B, C, D, E wave correction like this. This could be your A wave, this could have been your B wave. Right now you've had a C wave, this is a D wave, and an E wave, and you get compressing there. So what you've got is some kind of, you know, triangle, basically, and this is absolutely a possibility. And this is why today I've actually gone long on Bybit off this trend line we touched just there, because I think that what we have got is, like, and I did say this to you the other day, we've not got a trend line touch just there. So we ran into this resistance. This is why at this point I did go short, and we rode it all the way down. I did actually get stopped out, to be honest with you, because I didn't set my stop loss high enough. I was a little bit greedy, to be honest with you, a little bit fearful, to be fair, and I should have set my stop loss higher, because I did say to you at this point we are running into this trend line once more, okay? And you know, this could project to the downside. So at the, you know, it's exactly what I was saying to you just there. The fact that we've got this trend line touch just there could indicate that we're going to come back up like that, you know. So I know a lot of people are looking at some kind of big A, some kind of B, some kind of C wave correction, and it is all about the 1 fib at the moment. If we start to see Bitcoin losing the 1 fib at 26938, then yes, we have got an ABC zigzag. But if not, I think, you know, the other scenario is the fact that we've got an A, this is a B, this is a C, and this is a D, this is an E. You know, and right now this is some kind of local top, and you're in a 5-wave corrective pattern like this for Bitcoin, which you're just holding this descending level of resistance and this ascending level of support. So this is why, you know, I do try and find the opportunities right now. I do think it's not a bad idea just to take a chance on Bybit or Mexi, entirely up to you, just to go long at this point when people are just piling on the shorts, because you could see some kind of movement here for Bitcoin, right into that resistance once more before coming back down again, shorting at that resistance and then longing at that resistance for us to break out, basically, for Bitcoin. So again, I've not got a crystal ball. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but one thing we are doing here, and a little bit confidence of the fact that I don't think this will continue, again I could be completely wrong obviously, is the fact that what we've got, if you take a look, we melted through that support just there. So this is another confidence in factor as to why I've gone long on Bitcoin right now, because I think we're rallying to this resistance at least, okay? So there's a bit of money to be made here and a potential retracement back up into this resistance that we melted through support. Now if Bitcoin does start to break down here like this, okay, and we start to come up into the resistance and then drop and lose this green trend line, then yes, we're looking at a big ABC correction coming back down, and that would be my minimal target. Now if we do start to see Bitcoin do one thing here, and it's get to this 2.618 around about 22583, for me that's really bearish, you know. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that, because on the weekly time frame you get all the way down to there, you're losing the EMAs. Really is that simple, okay? So there's a possibility we're caught in a 5-wave sort of symmetrical triangle right now before continuation, obviously, but equally we're in some kind of ABC correction. I can't call it. I don't know exactly what Bitcoin's going to do, but at the minute I do think you're in a correction, and once this correction's done, you know, we have potentially got a massive move here for Bitcoin, and there's a lot of confluence in other charts. So what am I right now? I'm actually long on Bybit, looking to come up into this resistance here, which is around about the 28k mark. I'll look to take some profit right there. If it does continue and comes up to this green trend line, then I'm more biased towards saying, okay, we've got some kind of 5-wave corrective pattern in here, some kind of symmetrical triangle consolidation pattern before continuation. And everyone down here waiting for the 1618, waiting for the 25k, the 24k or whatever, is just not going to get it, basically. So I'll keep you updated as best I can, okay? Hope you enjoyed that little update. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Remember, don't be a degen, don't go in with your life savings, but you know, if we can get this correction out of the way and we start to see all the other charts of the confluence lining up as well, then we could be in for a really, really good time year end here for Bitcoin. Hope you enjoyed that update. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.